Hey guys, I'm back, and I know it has been longer than a week, but I initially wanted to have all my medical records together so I could give you guys proper terminology for everything that I'm trying to explain. But it takes forever to get your medical records, so we're just gonna work what we got, and when they come, I'll fill in the blanks, and we're just gonna go from there. So, a little bit of medical history on me. I do have Graves' disease. When I had my son in 2012, I had the surgical mesh tissue placed in my stomach. And in August of 2019, I went to the hospital because I was having stomach pains, like really bad stomach pains. And I'm not a person that complains about pain because with my Graves' disease, I have, joint pain and muscle pain all the time. So I usually try to, just push through it. But this was like starting to become an issue. So they gave me a brace to wear around my stomach, and they told me to wear it for a month. And if I was still in pain, to come back. I was still in pain, so I went back in October. Now, when I went back in October, after a series of tests and blood work and scans, and they said that they found a bacterial infection in my bloodstream and blood clots in my ovarian veins. Now, we never was told like what type of bacterial infection or like where it possibly could have came from or what it was or how it came to be, or why I had these blood clots, or where they possibly could have came from. I just know that I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and when I went home, I had a PICC line IV in my chest that gave me antibiotics every 4 hours, and I had blood thinners, and I would give myself the shot in my stomach. Now I had the IV for 2 weeks, and I did the blood thinners for about a month and a half. And I went back to the doctors, for follow up, and they said, everything was good, infection was gone, blood clots were gone, everything was fine. I want to say a week after that, I just got sick, like really sick. Like I couldn't walk, couldn't move, like I was just in like extreme amount of pain, and I could not stop vomiting. Everything I ate, everything I drank came right back up. And then this happened every day for about 3 months. Everything I ate, everything I drank, I just threw up. I was just sick, just it was a very, very stressful time for me. I went from 175 pounds to 86 pounds in 3 months. I felt like I was literally disappearing. It was so hard. Emotionally, I've never been this small before ever in my life, and it makes me very uncomfortable still to this day. I do not like being this small. It makes me so insecure. I hate it. Like mentally, I felt like I was wasting away. Like I was disappearing. My children were watching me like lose myself, and like it was quarantine. We were just all stuck in the house together, and I was just sick, and it was scary because we didn't know what was going on. I would go to the doctors, and they would tell me everything was fine. They would give me nausea medicine, and they would tell me to drink Pedialyte and drink Ensures and eat crackers, and that was it. And it didn't help. And so it was a time where I was super, super depressed because I did not know what was going on with my body. And like, I'm going to these people that's supposed to help me, and they're telling me that everything is okay, and I'm like, look at me, I'm not okay. Like, it's not okay. I'm hurting. And it's hard to actually show that you're hurting when you're trying to be strong for everybody around you. Like, my son, he was terrified. Like, he confided in a pastor at his school. Shout out to Pastor Gary, over at Greater Grace at on Moravia Park Drive. My son went to Pastor Gary, and he told him that he was afraid that I was dying. And Pastor Gary bought a literal bus, a school bus full of people to my house, and they prayed on my porch and they sang, and it really helped my family, because sometimes you need just a little bit of hope and a little bit of support, and I didn't have it to give to my children. Some days it's still hard to give to them. After a couple months of me being sick every day, not being able to eat, one day it just magically stopped. I don't know why. I don't know what caused it. Now, I'm not saying it stopped completely, because there are sometimes when I do eat and it comes back up, but not every time like it was before. I had started pain management, I'll say 2000, closer to 2001, and they give me opioids to take, and I take one before I eat, and it usually helps with the pain of the food going down, so it doesn't really come back up as much. But I still am in pain. As time go on and you take medicine, they say you build up a tolerance. So I went from taking 1 5 milligram pill a day to 2 5 milligram pills a day to 3 5 milligram pills a day to every time I eat, I'm taking a 5 milligram pain pill, narcotic, because if I don't, then I'll be in so much pain that I'll be sick. And nobody can explain why. And I also get nerve blocking injections, kind of like epidurals. I get them in my back every 2 weeks. They say that a lot of the nerves in your stomach are controlled through your back, and if you numb the pain in the nerves in your back, it'll help with the pain in your stomach. I think I'm explaining that right. But, I mean, it's numbing medicine. It feels good. So, it does help with pain. Like, I don't want to say it's like complete pain relief, but I can tell when it's time for me to get them again. I can tell when it's starting to wear off. So, yeah, when I eat, I get sick. And it might not be instantly or, within that hour, but eventually it's like I can feel the food moving through my body, and it does not feel good. Like, I can literally feel stuff moving down my chest into my stomach, and it is the most uncomfortable feeling ever in life, and it just sits and sits until it's ready to move. And when it's ready to move, it's ready to move. And it hurts. And it does it whenever it feels like it. And I have no control over my body. Like when I go to the bathroom, I get physically sick. It can take me anywhere between 45 minutes and an hour to go to the bathroom, which is embarrassing. One, if you're in public, inconvenient if you're not at home, and just stressful. Like, I break out into like a full body sweat. I like stop breathing. Most times I have an anxiety attack because I'm nervous about somebody coming to the bathroom or needing me, period, or just being sick in public, like not being able to get myself together, or starting to throw up and having to leave where I am. It is a very nerve-wracking situation, to the point where I had stopped eating for a while just because I wanted to avoid being sick altogether. I would go days and would not eat just so I would not be sick. And it became a mental thing. I would have anxiety attacks just thinking about eating because I didn't want to. I would get hungry and I would get upset because I just wanted to avoid that pain and that feeling. And like, you can't avoid it. You gotta eat. You gotta eat. So I've tried food journals and different diets. I've done keto. I've done gluten free. I stopped smoking weed for months, and it did not help. And I do want to go on record and say I'm not the best patient, because I'm to the point where I'm going to be sick anyway, so I'm just going to eat whatever I want to eat. My stomach going to hurt regardless, so at least I got to enjoy that chocolate cake, you know what I'm saying? Now, with the surgery that I was talking about the doctor that gave up on me, kinda, I had tons of tests done and procedures, like endoscopy, colonoscopy, breath test, stomach test, digestion test, all that good stuff. And they were initially going in to look at the mesh tissue in my stomach, because that was originally why I thought my stomach was hurting. And I probably still am convinced that that's why my stomach is hurting. And the surgery was supposed to be so they could look at the mesh. But when I woke up, they told me that there were so many abrasions in my stomach and so much scar tissue that they could not get to the mesh. And that I was supposed to schedule for another surgery for them to go to the mesh. But that's when he told me he couldn't do nothing else, and there would be no mesh surgery. And from there, it's just been doctor after doctor after doctor after doctor telling me that I am completely fine. There's nothing wrong with me. And if there is something wrong, they have no idea. Now, I do have a doctor whom I love, because she is determined to help me figure out what is going on. But I feel like every time I go to her, it's always something new. So the last time I went to see her, which was about 2 weeks ago, she told me that I had kidney stones and that my kidneys was in duress. So we're going to see. I have an appointment tomorrow. We're going to see what she say when I go tomorrow. She's not going to get on my nerves. Now, and I want everybody to understand, like, before you guys start messaging me and telling me to go here and telling me to go here and telling me to go see this doctor, the last 15 minutes of everything I explained is just a tiny, 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 tiny part of my life. Like, even with all of that going on and all of that on me, I am still a mother. I am still a sister. I am still an auntie. I am still a daughter. I am a full-time employee. I am a small business owner. I am a person, and I need me time too. This is completely overwhelming. And I literally am in a doctor's office, I want to say at least 3 times a week. I work 5 days a week. My business is 7 days a week. My children are 7 days a week. I am exhausted. I am overwhelmed. I'm stressed. I'm doing the best that I possibly can do. I am coping. I am managing. I am trying to still live a normal life in a very unnormal situation. I am desperately trying to find some answers to why my body is doing the things that it is doing. But at the same time, that is not my entire life. Like, so many people call me and they say, well, go see this doctor and go see this doctor. I know this one doctor, and I appreciate everything. I swear I appreciate every call, every recommendation, and I do research each doctor, and sometimes I call most of them. And I want you guys to understand that we are just coming out of a pandemic, and getting an in-person visit with a doctor is insane. I literally, May the 6th, I called to schedule an appointment with a doctor at Mercy that someone recommended to me. And the appointment isn't until the end of July. Getting an in-person appointment is like winning the lottery nowadays, and it is stressful. And like, what people don't understand is when you speak so highly of a doctor, of a person, and you recommend somebody, you give a person even if it's a slither, a little bit of hope, a glimpse of hope. And when you get hopeful, and you get happy, and some people don't understand, sometimes hope leads to great disappointments, and disappointment after disappointment after disappointment after disappointment can be devastating. And sometimes I just need a break from all the disappointment. It is a lot. And I just want you guys to know that I am taking everything into consideration, and I am really trying. But sometimes I need a break. Sometimes I just want to pretend that I'm not sick, and I just want to be a normal person, because all these pills lined up on my dresser, and every time I disappear at work, everybody texting me, are you okay, are you okay, are you okay? It is one of the most stressful things ever. So, with that being said, I do have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, per usual. And I do have my July appointment as well. But I'm going to keep you guys updated. And I do have a special announcement for my next video. Some exciting things for you guys. Not all the sad shit. Because that is not what we're about to do. But yeah, I'm going to holler at you guys. See you.